Can you hear those birds? I know you can see that mountain. This is one of my favorite locations on this planet. True statement. I just love coming here. And it's a great place for another episode of QTN, starting right now. First to drink, KTM 1190, the vehicle to get me up here today. As of yet, the road coming here is closed to four-wheel traffic. It will open up soon. I'm going to start the episode off with showing you something really cool that a TNPr sent me 5 years ago. Sorry, Dan Serto, it's taking me this long. This is what he sent. I wonder if he's still around, making his knives. And I'm going to show a couple things sent to me. I rarely do that because I don't want you guys to send me anything. I don't. I never solicit gifts or free gear or nothing like that. You don't have to, please don't. But bless your hearts, you do anyhow. And I just want to show it, just to say thank you. This is a knife he made out of a railroad spike. I think these have been around a while. Maybe different makers. It's really cool though. He even signed it. How cool is that? It says Nutnfancy. What? You are a douche? I'm just kidding. It's just, he signed it with his initials. Really cool though, huh? So if you want, I don't know, a custom railroad spike knife, look that up. Thank you, Dan, very much. Check this out too. And this is a letter. We got a lot of ground to cover, incidentally. I'll do the best I can. If it gets, I don't know, boring, I'll just snip it here and there for time only. Alabama. Dude, I'm from Alabama. This is Jerry Chatham. He says, hey Nuttin, this is a toy off the Corvette that is nicknamed the Beeve. I genuinely thank you for the unexpected advice via YouTube. I hope one day I can influence someone like you have influenced me. Keep making videos about guns, gears, cars, and life. I will do. With audience support, I will continue. I keep up with TNP the best I can and hope to see you in a TNP Corvette review soon. Thank you, Nuttin. He sent this in November. And I also think he sent a long letter. I'll just try to summarize it super quick because I got, again, a lot of letters I want to cover. Let's see. Nuttin, after taking your advice and talking to my dad, I have chosen to go to college here in Alabama to become a radiologic technologist with no part of the military. And my dad has blessed me even more by paying for my college tuition. Hey, good for you, man. I mean, I love the military. I love, going into law enforcement. I think those are great professions. But I'm not recruiting for those two professions. Like I've said in other QTN episodes, it seems like everyone feels like, oh, I gotta go in the military. I gotta go into the police. No, you don't. There's so many great professions. He's figured it out. My brother and I love your videos. Really pay attention to what you have said about life and gear. I'm currently watching you cook stir fry on your tailgate. That was with Allie out in the desert years ago. I might do more cooking vids, we'll see. My brother and I have even made a mountain stew or desert stew. We call it Nuttin Stew and we love it. And then he goes on talking again about his college decision. Now an RT is basically the person who takes x-rays and CAT scans for radiologists to decipher what the results are. That's awesome. Goes on, he talks about cars. We have similar interests and one of them is cars. How about motorcycles too, dude? I like them both. Other than Trans Am, I currently drive a 2001 Corvette Coupe in torch red with a 6-speed manual. Go ahead and hyperventilate. That's right. He's actually saying that right here. That's pretty funny. I've had it for less than 3 years now. Absolutely love that car. I've met some awesome people that love God thanks to it. Also, let me explain 6 Jerry's. Oh, it's pronounced 6 gears, not Jerry's. It is my tag to symbolize a 6-speed transmission. I have a few small goals right now. Some of them to get a Glock 19 as my EDC with some RIP rounds. I want a Rock River Entry Tactical. I will order some Duracoat to coat my deer rifle. Savage 7mm 08 has a lot of sentimental value. We have 50 acres. My brother lives in Auburn. It's a great letter, but for time I got to kind of rush through it. I hope to meet you one day and meet your family. They seem awesome. Ooh, let's see. Next, since you like cars, I searched. She gives me a video to go watch. Thank you for your service in the Air Force. Man, lots of good stuff here. Let me show you the photos he sent. He says, hey, do not open until letter is fully read. Do not open yet. Why? Okay, enclosed is one of the 2 patches that my best friend gave me. He was a Green Beret. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. Check that out, Special Forces. Let me read the rest of this. He was a Green Beret scout sniper. He was in the first deployment after 9/11. His name is Shane Burnett. He taught me a lot about guns and was my influence about the whole sniper thing. 83 confirmed kills. Sergeant First Class. Burnett. Awesome. Thank you for the service there, Sergeant Burnett. Here's his Trans Am, by the way. That's not rust, it's primer, he says. Into guitar, apparently. There he is going 180 miles an hour, he says. That's a cool photo. There's his Nutnfancy stew. How excellent is that? Great photos. That's really cool. There he is right there. Let's say me on a Ninja 636. Didn't buy it yet. Oh, I guess he does like motorcycles. Drive safely, my friend. Drive safely. Those motorcycles, if used like any dangerous thing, are safe. Well, not completely, but nothing is completely safe. There's his hot Corvette. Look at how cool that is, dude. Nice. There's his guitars. Oh man, that was really good. I love your photos, dude. And this is my dad and Garrett. Excellent. Nice letter, dude. Thanks for that plate. I'll hang on to this and hang it in my man cave. Very cool. Let's see. Now, some of these things I want to read. They kind of, I get a lot of this stuff. I mean, I'm just overflowing with it. They want me to promote a certain thing, a certain gear, a certain website, a certain service. I rarely do it because I protect the audience. I never take advantage of TNP and inundate you guys with, hey, do this, hey, do that. I'm just really, really almost paranoid about it. And anything I ever roll in front of the camera, I use the best knowledge I have at the time to say, hey, this is good, and I can't make mistakes. And this might be a good example. I just don't know. It's called the Free State Project. I have an invitation to be a speaker there. I read through it. I didn't go to the website. I didn't do research on it. But apparently it's good. It's a pro-Second Amendment thing. Liberty in our lifetime. Free people own guns. Slaves don't. Here's our flyer right here. It's in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is one of the few northeastern states that has, I think, fairly decent gun laws to it. And I won't read the letter, but they're inviting me to be a speaker along with Sheriff Mack, Patrick Byrne, David Boys, Will Ruger, a bunch of other dudes. Nutnfancy belongs in this list. I really appreciate the invite. I don't know if I'll do it or not. It's really funny. I don't look to self-aggrandize myself with TNP. I hope you guys sense that. I have a lot of invitations to do that, be part of this or that. I have book invitations. I had television invites from production companies on the Discovery Channel. Longtime TNPers know about that. It's so funny. I'm just so apathetic about fame. I really wish I could do this without being famous. Yeah, it just kind of goes with the territory. Now, that being said, like after the Sandy Hook shooting, you saw me get really vocal and go out in front of a lot of crowds and do speeches. And so I think when the need is there and there are some voices that need to be heard, I'll step up to the plate and take a couple swings. And you may see me do that again. I'm a big believer in defending our liberties, defending the Second Amendment, restoring freedoms, and promoting good in this life. And that's why I do TNP more than anything, is I want to give quality information on guns and gear, knives, systems for good guys, of course, but the larger message is life. Living to impress yourself. That. You may see me talk here or there, but I'm saying this because I want you to understand where I come from and why some people go, why wouldn't you just jump at that talking invitation? I'm not looking to do it, you know. If it happens, it happens, but I'm really busy too professionally, and it's hard to make time. Okay, this guy says, this is his letter right here, and man, if I show your guys' email address or something, I'm trying to hide him. I'm sorry. Boom. Super quick, he goes, we bought a new computer, haven't purchased the blah, 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 that. Hoping the spacing isn't all screwed up. As I watched your parenting video, I thought about our son who just relocated to Tacoma, Washington. You always wonder if your children had a good upbringing and received a solid foundation. I may be the only one. While you were recapping the 10 points, I swear I could hear PFI dude's voice behind me. Hit, miss, I think you hit a rock. Okay, my son taught me something important when he was about 8 years old. He said my attitude wasn't healthy and my family was taking grief for my temper. That's some meaningful stuff there. Gee, Dad, do you behave like this at work with your friends? Ouch. Lessons learned. Don't get so wrapped up in crap that you poison the most important part of your life. And don't behave like a jerk in private or in public. Learning can go both ways. Thank you for this video. Every parent should watch it instead of that reality TV crap. I'll interject here. That's really a good stepping stone for me to say the following. Don't sweat the small stuff. You know, I'm at a stage in my life where you look back and you look at things that you worried about and say, oh, I'm worried about that, I'm worried about this. And you'll realize as you get older that it wasn't worth worrying about. Being kind lasts forever. When you're kind to people, it just stands a test of time. And we all make mistakes where we're not kind either with our own family. We lose patience with them. We say things we shouldn't have said. Welcome to being a human being. You're going to do it again. But like he said, sometimes these little clue birds will come at you and you'll get a look into your Johari window that you're actually this way and you thought you were another way, and you can make a life correction. So good on you for doing that. I really appreciate it. Since he wrote this letter, I think this was fall of 14, I posted the 2-part series Awesome Daughter, and that's for raising our little girls into well-rounded, capable, knowledgeable, and self-confident young women. And watch that. The second item he writes is very simple. It's funny, he's got like, I don't know if he's writing this on 2 different computers or what, like he's saying. Do you have any of your father's gear or firearms? And he talks about things that he inherited from his father, lots of memories every time I touch one of them. Do you have similar heirlooms? That's a really good question, and I answer it honestly. I don't have that many. My brother has most of them, and this is one of life lessons. When I was going into pilot training in the U.S. Air Force, I was totally poor, and we were going on the road, and we're on the road for basically 10 years active duty to Texas, North Dakota, then later Washington State, and it was really hard to move everything, so I did sell a couple of my guns that Dad had given me, and I kind of regret it now. So, life lessons, right? My thinking at the time was I knew I wanted more tactical oriented firearms. My dad's firearms were hunting. I know that shouldn't have been a reason to sell them, but that's what I was thinking at the time. The Glock 19, incidentally, that I have and purchased in 1989 was bought with the funds from my dad's guns or one of them I sold. I know, it's a Glock 19. I should have hung on to them. I do have some things, and my brother has a lot of them, and I can use them and visit them often. That's that. Hey, review some scope mounts. No, I'm not going to. I'm not. There's probably tons of videos out there already on scope mounts. You don't need me rolling in doing them. I don't think they'd get good views. I shouldn't say I won't do them, but I just really ask myself, does the audience support it? And let me define that, by the way. And I finally hammered it down what that means. If 1/5 of the actual subscribers watch a video within 1 week, I term that as really excellent audience support, and you'll see a lot more of that content. I think we are well below that and have been for years. There's a lot of clone channels to TNP. I mean, a lot. I know that. There's a lot of things actually vying for your media attention, and I'm amazed you guys watch it all, to be honest. But when you ask me to do this type of video, that type of video, there's the truth. I mean, and it really doesn't matter what the content is. Let's say I do a video on, and I still will on the B channel and on the H channel, videos on motorcycles. Not a lot, but enough that will interest me. And there's more and more motorcycle guys in TNP. I mean, seriously, there's a lot. If that reached that level, 1/5 the subs, you'd see a lot more motovids. Because guys are voting, they're like, yeah, we like that, we like that. What you've traditionally seen, gun vids. Gun vids, generally, if you guys are interested in that firearm, get really good views. I shouldn't say really good. They get barely adequate views for me to keep doing them. That's that. Okay. He says had a Burris scope with a Millet DMS. I'm sorry. Burris TNPr QD mount with a Millet DMS 1:4. I don't like that Millet. It's too heavy, by the way. The scope weighs 18 ounces. The mount is 8 ounces. You stated in your AR scope video that 20 ounces was too much for a low power scope. I agree with that. And he talks about putting on a red dot like a TRS 25. I don't want to spend a lot of money like on the LaRue mount. I concur. They are very expensive. There's some other great options. Nikon would be one of them. And Weaver has that SPR mount you might want to look into. It's not QD, but I think QD is a little bit overrated, like I said. Let's see what he shows here. I got to press on. Oh, nice. He shot this. Look at that group, man. 0.4 inches. Really nice shooting, man. Really nice. Out of an AR, I think, of some sort. Whoa, dude, you shot that with a 4 power? Wow. Impressive. Okay, and this dude, moving on. Thank you for that letter, by the way. Nathan Stewart, Georgia. His question is this. He goes, hey, I live out in Georgia. I'm thinking about moving out west. I'm considering the states of Wyoming, Idaho, and Utah. I'm on my way to Arizona. Where should I go? I've never been to those 3 states before. I hear they're beautiful since they're sort of your stomping grounds. I'd love to hear your suggestions for places to visit. If you're in need of a cameraman for an adventure during that time frame, let me know. Video production and filming is my job. Like 10 exclamation points following that right here. I'll stop there. Well, let me see. Make sure I'm getting this. And I have some other guys writing to that. They're thinking about coming out west. Sorry, I got spit. Here's my thoughts. There's great stuff in every state. A lot of people see where I go out here in the west. I'm in Utah right now. And they go, wow, I really want to move out there. And I say, rock on, come on out. It's really excellent. There's a lot of freedom out here. It's pro-gun. But there's a lot of states I love. My top states, and I'm saying if I were to choose a state to live in, would be, and this may surprise you, these aren't going to be in the exact order. I would say California, surprised. The gun laws are awful, I know that. Utah, Washington State, Idaho, Wyoming, Nevada. And not necessarily in that order. California has everything that you would want as an adventurer. It has oceans, it has mountains, it has beaches. I mean, it's just beautiful. You can get whatever you want out of the state of California. However, the gun laws. The politics suck. We know that. I'm not going to spend time on it. Utah's the same way. This is Utah. It's just gorgeous. I love it. Every state has some downsides, and it's just the way it is. I mean, there's weird cultural issues here in this state at times. I just deal with them. Geographically, though, I love it. I just love it. The one thing I miss in Utah is water opportunities. I'm a big water fan. I'm talking like running the Zodiac like I used to do in Washington State. I used to go to Upper Priest Lake with the family. Man, that was fun. And we just don't really have great bodies of water here in the state of Utah. Some may disagree. They go, oh, this, Jornell's awesome. Deer Creek Reservoir's awesome. And I say, they're so small. I mean, you've run a Zodiac all the way up to the border of Canada. On Roosevelt Lake, it's basically a huge river in Washington State. You've ran the boat out in San Juan Islands, looking at orca whales, minke whales. Dude, freaking epic. Anyways, I saw this apron and thought of you. Oh, this guy sent me some tactical apron. Thank you, by the way. Don't send me crap, though. I missed the cooking vids, man. I'm sorry that some of your areas of adventure are declining in views. I love most of them and still watch the ones I don't love because I want to support you and what you're doing with the project. On long solo drives across the country, I actually plug in my phone, open up YouTube, and listen to your vids to keep me awake. Man, I'm glad someone stays awake during my videos. I have a whole playlist set up for your philosophy videos and a few other favorites I've seen, so I don't have to look at the screen again. I listen for hours on long drives. Thank you very much. Again, we touched on the thing on audience support. I thought that Cooking with Nutnfancy It started off really strong, and then guys just kind of lost interest. That's why you haven't seen episodes for a long time. I've got lots more recipes, a lot more cool places to go. I plan on doing one here or there, and we'll see. We'll see. Again, if you guys watch, there'll be a lot more. But you didn't watch last couple episodes, so they died. They haven't been out for years. Oh, he says, you often ask for feedback on the videos, so I'd like to mention this. Sometimes when you're doing a review, you roll in shooting footage. The audio from the overlaid footage distracts me from what you're saying in the review. Excellent point, and you are right on target. Pun intended. I often think of that, and I call it layering, by the way. So and I do really simple editing because the audience doesn't care about fancy editing. They don't. You can edit a video with all this flashy camera, super high resolution camera, fades and whatnot. The audience does not care. I could film it with an iPhone. They care about content. They care about stories. They care about information that's fun and entertaining and useful. They care about characters, just like a good movie. Special effects don't make a good movie. Fancy editing. Here, another bite coming up. I'm just going to keep pressing on if it gets loud. Fancy editing doesn't do crap. It's the story. Now, back to his point. So oftentimes I have all this footage and a lot of it's cool, but I often debate, is it cool enough to stand on its own? For instance, we shot the Beretta ARX 100. And I'm thinking to myself, and I probably ought to go back and look at that footage, is it good enough to break out in a standalone shooting video? With me and PFI just doing the raw shoot, raw edit, and I take it to the B channel and you guys can check it out and look at it. I don't know. I've done that before and the views suck. So, but then I'm saying, well, a lot of times what we're saying is funny, and I'm debating, do I layer it and leave the audio up enough where you can hear it? Lately, what I've done is really mute that audio so you're just hearing me at tabletop. So his point, I've already thought about, and you're going to see more of that because I'm like, it's kind of distracting. To the point when we're shooting, I tell my players, when we're shooting a gun, I'm like, hey, this is inset footage. Please don't talk. Ask PFI. So he'll be blabbering on and on, this and that. I'm like, dude, you got to stop talking because I want to use it as inset footage and it just creates an editing problem for me. I got to go in and lower the audio. Anyways, that's it. Thank you very much. That was YouTube name Sakari1138. Nathan Stewart pressing on. Excellent. Some of this stuff's going to be sad, by the way. Oh my gosh. This is from Joe Larson in Clarkston, Missouri. He says, I wanted to send you this handmade gift to your family as a token of my appreciation. Please don't send me anything. Thank you. I forgot what he sent. I'm sorry. I get so much of it, I lost it. It's there, but I don't have it with me right now. I have been a faithful subscriber and viewer since the early days of TNP, May 2008. Yeah, dude, that's basically when I got serious about it. So you've been around a while. To keep tradition, I will impart what I don't like about your channel. Most moving and thought-provoking videos you do, in my opinion, are the philosophy videos. Lessons of my father, story of first aid. There's nobody doing this that I know of on any media. The dislike. I guess, and by the way, this is, I don't want to show his address, but this you know I'm not making this up. The dislike. I guess I missed the TNP crew member shoots. Sadly missing Crockett, PFI dude, and dad. Mostly the off-scripted humor and camaraderie involved made them very entertaining shoots. That is really good to read. I love hearing that. And I often think about like cranking Sledgehammer up again, but we go back to the theme, audience support. And I've talked about this before, and it's just not there. I throw them out occasionally and we'll see what happens with votes. Now, I don't know if it's because there's so many channels doing shoots now. You know, it's all started here in TNP, but now everybody does run and guns, tactical shoots of every sort and description. Maybe it's just overplayed and it's saturated. I really like what that last guy in his letter said, and I don't know if this is asking too much, but I like it when guys, even if they're not super interested in that particular content, that they'll click on it and give me a vote of confidence. Does that make sense? Because it spurns me on to do more. Let's say it is a run and gun shoot. It is PFI dad. And by the way, I want to get him out. I saw him last week and he's doing great. He has a BMW 1200 GS and I want to do a ride with him. And PFI dude wants to ride too. So you may see some moto trips with those guys. That'd be cool, huh? Crockett, I was texting him all week. We've been in communication. I'm planning on hooking up with him soon. He's super busy with his kids. He's changed jobs. He almost doesn't have enough time, he told me, to do his video channel, his YouTube channel, and I am empathetic, being very professionally busy myself. I understand. But back to your point, do shoots, do that funny, crazy humor, message received. I like them too. You know, and I'm really particular, by the way, on what kind of personalities I can roll in front of the camera. And I've learned this over time. I was so naive, like I said in some other QTNs, about personalities, thinking, well, you know, I can do this type, roll this person in. And I found that some personalities just don't play well on camera. They do or say things that will be misinterpreted. I've learned that through experience, even though they didn't mean anything by it. And it creates a lot of editing for me to protect them from themselves. And some are just boring. And that's almost the worst. I'd rather have a colorful character, even if he has colorful language, and roll that in. I like that. I like interesting. And I like people who have interesting takes, but who also don't really have an ego agenda. I don't like that. I just don't. I've had guys show up to shoot and, you know, they just want to prove they're Joe Tactical, and they're going to use TNP to boost their, I don't know, whatever, their own gig, whatever they're doing. And it's just not pure. I don't like it. I like guys to just shoot with us because they love it and they're having fun. And that comes through on the camera. You can't fake that. That's why I continue to use PFI Dude. PFI Dude does have a web store. I have promoted that web store, but he is totally faithful to the gear I've reviewed, and he gives my audience value, and he has for years. And I don't detect the only reason he comes out is to promote his web store. Just being honest with you guys. If I did, I would not use him anymore. He has to come out because he enjoys it. He enjoys hanging out with me. He's a friend, and I've felt that has been the case throughout the years. I could say that about Crockett. I could say that about any number of people. Sadly missing, though, super busy. I've thrown some invites to him, and he's like, yeah, I'd love to, and then he bails last second. Same with Bucket Nuster. Too busy. So, you know, people make their priorities, and I can't change them. And I don't twist people's arms anymore either. I got to press on. I mean, if you want to come shoot, it's fun, it's cool, it's a great memory. It goes on camera. It's, you know, available and inspirational to a lot of people. Some people get it, some people don't. To be brief, I got my bachelor's degree in magna cum laude honors in criminal justice. I graduated third in my class in the police academy. That's awesome. You lit a fire under me personally through the years and taught me to go for my dreams. Good for you. He's in Michigan. I'm sorry, I said Missouri, Michigan. Man, that's really cool. You don't have to worry about us here in Michigan. We had a whole academy day focused on the Constitution, which included Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman's session. He's the one that came up with the sheepdog concept. I helped popularize it with my video, Sheepdog Concept. Keep up the good work. You're welcome. Thank you, dude. Pressing on. This one is from Greg Lindlar, Granada Hills, California. Oh my gosh, this is that one. I'm going to start crying, dude. This is so hard to read. Okay, I got to read this. Hang with me, guys. I'll go as quickly as I can. Sun's going down here soon. After watching your questions in Nutnfancy, troop shot with a 12.7 millimeter machine gun, I had to write you. I've been following you since the summer of 2009. My world turned upside down on July 27, 2014. That day is the worst day of my life, my family's life. That is the day I became a grieving dad. I thought I'd share my story with you since you've been there twice. Be sure you have a box of tissues. I use them every day. Our Lily lived 966 days. She was the happiest little girl, except when you ate something and you didn't share it with her. On July 26th, we had a great family day. We went to the movies. We played Legos. A short while after, I laid Lily down for a 2-hour nap. When Lily woke up, I took her outside to her kiddie pool. I'm going to kind of jump ahead through this for time. Her sister were 10 years apart. They loved playing with each other. The rest of the afternoon and evening was uneventful. 8 p.m. rolled around. She had a slight fever and a runny nose. We took the necessary precautions and gave her some Tylenol, plenty of fluids before bed. We thought she was not tired after the long late night. 11 p.m. rolled around. My wife and I thought it was time for bed. I placed Lily in to sleep in her room. My arms gently laid her down. She opened her eyes with heavy eyelids and fell asleep. I left her room. I checked on her at 12:30 a.m. before going to bed myself. She was slightly snoring due to some congestion. That was the last time I saw her. God, that's sad. The next morning is a nightmare, and I hate to relive it. We thought Lily was sleeping in due to her late bedtime. My wife went in to check on her just before 9 a.m. That's when we found her. She had passed away many hours before. The trauma of that morning is something I will never forget. Lily passed from an event called sudden unexplained death in childhood. 94 days later, we are still in shock. SUDC happens 1.5 times in 100,000 children over the age of 12 months. SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, happens 65 times more and is for children 12 months or younger. We'd never heard of that, even though my wife is an RN. The weeks following Lily's death, we frantically tried to find some answers on the web. We found that the SUDC program in our search. They have helped us tremendously. Please visit the site when you have time to learn more about SUDC. We try to pick up the pieces of our lives and take care of Lily's older sister. We have just recently received the cause of death from a pathologist, pneumonia. It is hard to believe this is Lily's cause of death. She showed no signs of pneumonia. Hearing this is just another blow to us as parents. I was so protective of this little girl. And by the way, here's some pictures. Right here. Making sure there's no information he hasn't been shown. Sad, man. Hearing this is just another blow to his parents. I was so protective of this little girl. I would have died 10 painful deaths to have saved her. We were not given a chance to save her. We don't even know why this happened to Lily knows. We have very little faith left over after this event. In our moments of low, we ask ourselves, what's the point? I'm empathetic, brother. I've been through this. Sorry, I'm just thinking. What we have been through is unimaginable to most parents. I do not want other parents to ever have to feel this pain. It is by far the worst thing that can happen to anyone. If there's something worse, I don't know what to do. I don't know what it would be. When we lose our parents, we lose our past. When we lose our children, we lose our future. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Your videos always express your life philosophies. I've always admired your views and your way of living. Everyone in life is dealt a hand of cards and you play them the best you can. But how you play those cards when your best card is gone? Liliana Noel Lindlar. Let me tell you this, and first off, I'm going to say humbly that I have no miracle cures to your loss. I don't. Grieving is a process. I've been thinking about making a video specifically on that. I've gone through it several times in my life. I will tell you this. It's always there. Okay, and what was your first name again? Greg. It's always there, Greg. Your grief, you can visit and will visit in certain times in your life. That's normal. It's normal to be angry. It's normal to blame yourself. What did I do? Did it happen because I did this or I missed this symptom? My little brother died of scarlet fever on the phone to the doctor. Out of the blue. I don't know if I told you all the specifics on that. So that is related to pneumonia. And it was brutal on my mom. And my mom still struggles with it. And I lost 2 babies, late-term pregnancy. I've revealed that on camera now. I've held those dead little babies in my arms. And I know the grief. I think yours is worse than mine because you knew her and you bonded with her as a person, as an individual. And that's even more painful. Knowing that the grief is there, understand that you can compartmentalize it and press on with your life. Go through the natural stages of grief, and the period of grief for every person is different. It might be 6 months, it might be a year. But you do eventually have to compartmentalize it, and you want to drive on. Otherwise, your life will be impacted in ways you don't want it to be impacted. For instance, there's been parents that have lost children, and they end up falling out of love. The stress separates them. They end up getting divorced, and now each of them are more miserable than before. And that's not good. bad things happen to good people all the time, and oftentimes no one is to blame. It's just life. It's part of our mortal existence here. It's just the way things go. I think back to the Amish community. Do you remember when that mass shooter came in and shot all those Amish people years ago? And I noticed how the Amish handled that, and I always admired it. I may have said this on camera. They actually forgave the shooter immediately, and they also forgave the family. The family of the shooter was very apologetic, and they were destroyed that their son had done this to the community and shot, I think it was in a school, right? The Amish school. And they immediately forgave. And a lot of people looked at that and said, how in the world could they ever do that? That's insane. I mean, shouldn't they be filled with hate and rage and a demand for justice? And that's not how the Amish people handled it. They handled it with such poise and kindness, and they felt bad for the family of the shooter. And in doing so, I think they felt a large measure of peace in their life and happiness. My point being is that sometimes the more we enrage at something tragic that has happened to us, like the loss of a child, a loss of a parent, a loss of our wife, our loved ones, the more unsettled we will be in life. If you want to have peace in your life and happiness in your life, it comes through forgiveness. It comes through acceptance of what life has dealt you. You compartmentalize the grief, and you'll visit it when it's appropriate. It never goes away. I can visit the loss of my own children, but as you can see, I've moved on, and I try to be of service to other people. If you want to overcome your grief, do that. Participate in this SUDC program. Talk to other parents who've lost children and help them. And in doing so, you'll overcome and be able to compartmentalize that grief, and you'll help them, and you'll bond with these people and become friends with them, lifelong friends. And therein lies something beautiful. Get my note card before it blows away. So I am very sorry for your loss. I know all the TNPers watching this are, and we pray for you and hope the best for you. This next one is from Arturo Ceron. He goes, of all your videos, my favorites are of those of you and Allie adventuring outdoors. She is definitely an awesome mountain dog. We love camping and hiking with our dogs, especially during the winter when we get to drive sleds in the snow. We have Siberian Huskies, our favorite breed. We also rescue, foster, and place Siberian Huskies. Through our dogs and rescue, we've met many other Husky owners and made lifelong friends with whom we organize as many dog carting and sledding trips as possible. Check this out, man. These are his dogs. How cool is that? Currently in our family, we have two females, Kira and Rosie. Sadly, our male husky, Diamond, passed away on Memorial Day. I'm so sorry. More sadness. It was very sudden and unexpected. He was a great dog in so many ways, and he and I had a very special bond. I miss him terribly. Now when I hear you speak of the time when you will no longer have Allie in your lives, I tear up because I know the pain that is to come. God, you guys write such letters that just impact me. So I wish Allie many more years of good life and good health. Oh, God, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm an animal lover. I love animals. I just do. God, so embarrassing. But it's meaningful, and I don't hide that from you guys. I never have. I'm kind of emotional because he lost his dog, and I really, really do dread when Allie passes on. And I've read about you guys losing your animals and their family members, and it just, I don't know, it tears us apart, right? It just tears us apart then when we lose them. Here's what I say, though. We just give our animals, our dogs, even our cats. I love a good cat, actually. That may surprise some of you guys. The best lives we can. And I've done that with Allie. I live with no regrets, man. None. So, you know, Allie goes hiking. I ran her on the Zooter scooter yesterday. That's right. I gotta blow my nose. Hold on. The Zooter, here, while I do that, I'll roll in footage of Allie. The Zooter scooter. Because I have to go slower with her now. She's older. She's still doing great. But who knows? You know, within a week's time, your dogs can shut down and they can die. They're dogs. They don't have that long of a lifespan. What do you do, man? You go out and hike with them. You treat them kindly. Give them a great quality of life. Sorry, man, that just touched me. I would like to ask your advice on an important matter. Arturo continues. I made a decision to walk to freedom, if you will. This is another one of those guys. He's thinking about moving out west, I think. Yeah, he is. He talks about his house is still mortgaged. It needs a lot of renovation to get market value. He lives in California, I think he does, right? And I've considered several areas after weighing my wants and needs, and one that has made the short list is the great state of Utah, especially the Salt Lake area. From watching TNP, there's plenty of access to land for shooting, adventuring, dogs included, of course. I'm also looking for a community with a preparedness and self-reliance mindset. I think that also may be found in the Salt Lake area, he says. Ideally, I would like a property with several acres, at least 2, no more than 10. My reasoning is we grow garden, we grow food ourselves. Mini homestead. Give me the pros and cons of living in Utah. I think I've covered them already, a lot of them. If you are in California, I think you are. Let me see here. Yeah, he's in Fremont, California. You're in a great state. I told you, it's one of my top states. You can find everything you need. The funny thing about California is if you just go eastbound and start hitting the Sierras, you hit this. Places like this. Beautiful places that no people are in. The coastal areas are super busy. But dude, I mean, there's places that match this in California. And I'll show you more of them as the years go on. I've been out there adventuring in them. I absolutely love them. You don't have to come to Utah. You don't have to come to Nevada, Idaho. If you do, welcome. It's a great state. The pros and cons. The cost of living is relatively inexpensive here. I don't think the food in Utah is that great. We have chain restaurants, but no real epic food like I find in the coastal areas and in bigger states. That is what it is. I mean, there's some places, but nothing like I find elsewhere. If you love mountains, it's a great place. If you don't like cold, don't come to Utah, because we have a lot of cold here and a lot of people forget that. They come and then sometimes the winters drag on, we get an inversion, lots of smog and fog, and then they're like, hey, maybe the state isn't so awesome after all. It gets depressing in the wintertime at times. Got to move on. Where am I at time-wise? This is a really good episode. I'm digging it. Apologies for the handwriting. I don't own a printer currently. This is from Bill S. in Rifle, Colorado. I said excellent, by the way. This letter right here. I simply wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for several things. You've inspired me to be prepared in many aspects of life. You inspired me to get outdoors and adventure for more than I would have done otherwise. But perhaps most importantly to me, your Air Force Stories videos just directly inspired me to seek out military service at a point in my life when I was on the precipice as to whether or not I would ever be, this is the way he's writing it, if it would ever be an option. I've been a Army reservist for 3 years now in a position that challenges and excites me, and my first deployment is imminent. Sorry, I'm doing this so late. You're probably already gone, dude. So I guess if I have an actual question in this letter, it would be in regard to your experiences in CENTCOM theater. I'm about to spend a bunch of time there, and I've noticed several items that have made their way back home with you in your videos. Any knives or other cool things I should look for while I'm over there? Thank you for everything, Bill S. Great letter, thank you. Deployment items, deploying overseas. Chances are you're going to be sitting around a lot. You may be in barracks, you may be in tents, so bring some entertainment items. My first recommended item to you would be mini remote control cars that you can race your friends with. I'm serious. I brought those, different frequencies, and there's different sizes. There are tiny ones like that. You can get big ones, electric ones. If you can really afford it, get those big four-wheel drive trucks, electric. Trax makes them, and they are awesome. If you can fit them into your kit, I don't know what your deployment bag size is limited to, take them. Get you and your buddy to set up a track. You can do it out in the desert and run them. You'll be so glad you had them. I've taken them before, and dang, were they fun. They were so fun. Remote control cars, really fun. Frisbees, you can play frisbee golf with them. I've done that. You can set up a frisbee golf course. When I was in Saudi Arabia, we played frisbee golf at night. Tee-off time was about 12 midnight when it got cool, because it was a desert. You know, it's like 110 degrees Fahrenheit in the daytime. Nighttime, it cools down. Dudes, rendezvous. Frisbee golf. We did it in Escon Village back then, and it was a riot. Loved it. Other things you can bring, and I'm talking recreational right now. Bring music, iPod full of music. Get as many movies as you can. Load them up on iPads. Bring a whole stack of DVDs, Blu-rays, because as many as you can bring, because you can exchange those with other dudes. Make sure you have a player. So a compact Blu-ray player, compact DVD player that you can plug in to, perhaps, if you can fit it, a small television. Hey, nothing fancy. I'm in the Army, man. I also have a backpack. I'm not some spoiled Air Force brat. We don't have that much room. Okay, I get you. Granted, where I went sometimes it was kind of cool because we could take that stuff on a KC-135. But think along those lines. Other stuff you can take too. Oh, power kites. So I brought some power kites. I'm talking steerable, fast, really fun kites. I took those to Saudi Arabia. I'll roll in a photo. And my friend and I learned how to fly formation. And so we would just rock our tunes out in the sun, sit in chairs, sipping our drinks, and power kiting in formation. That was fun. Multi-tools, probably a Leatherman Charge, a Leatherman Wave, you know, or the Wingman or Sidekick. A selection of tools. This is, again, if SAWC allows you to do it. I might want to make a video on all this stuff. On my deployment system. It was extensive. I might have a picture I'll roll in right now. Check it out. That's just some of the stuff I deployed with. There's so much stuff you need to deploy with to be prepared. Everyone was always coming to me when something broke. He's like, hey, Nutton, dude, this broke. Do you have this? Do you have duct tape? Yes. Do you have wire? Yep. Do you have sharp nose pliers? Yep, got it right here. People would just be mind freaked. I had all this covered. Why? Because I deployed so many times. I found I had a need for it. I kept a note, and every time I came back from a deployment, I wrote on it and said, hey, I need this item. And so my later deployments were super perfected. A lot of what I talk about here is systems, right? Got to press on. I'm going to wrap it up here in the next couple letters. Skyhorse Publishing is asking me to do a book on my likes and dislikes on guns. Andres Dietz Chavez. Thank you. Again, I'm not looking to self-aggrandize. I may write books in the future. Right now, it's the video medium that I'm doing. I like the video medium. It's just nice for me. The written medium, I may do it later on. But the problem is this: I don't have a lot of bandwidth in my life. So let's say I write a book right now, and I could write a book right now on the YouTube experience, what I found out about manufacturers, secrets of the industry. That's a funny thing about working on the internet. I could just write a freaking book. But by doing that, I would have to shut TNP down. So videos would stop posting pretty much. And they still do. I mean, I go through times professionally where I'm really busy, or I get super demotivated by, I don't know, whatever's going on. Lack of audience participation, I just walk away. I do. I reserve that right. I always come back, though. Your videos, this is, by the way, Danny Heilman in Minnesota. Your videos, all of them, are amazing material. I definitely won't buy any firearm unless it is Nutnfancy approved. I'm in high school, spending a lot of time thinking about possible career paths. Two things I'm always back to are an anthropologist or archaeologist or a police officer. That's interesting. I love that kind of stuff. I'm also seriously interested in being a cop. By the way, I totally support police officers. And I think what's going on, the anti-police movement going on here, is completely unwarranted. It just is. I mean, they are like the ultimate sheepdogs, aren't they? I mean, what's going on in Baltimore now that those neighborhoods are getting ransacked because they stopped supporting their police officers? The police are rolling in and responding to calls, and yet the cops are getting overwhelmed. Like 60 people show up demonstrating against the cops, threatening them. So the cops go, you know what? You guys are on your own. It's a Wild West. Have fun. Police officers. I'm not going to say that the day will come when police won't do something that we as an audience don't like. And what I'm talking about is constitutional issues. Roadblocks, confiscations. I am not for that, never will be. If and when that ever happens, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And I think pretty much 100% of the police officers, and there's thousands that watch the Nutnfancy Project, are totally supportive of the Constitution. And they keep the peace. Hopefully they don't give me a speeding ticket when I pass them doing, I don't know, 100 on this. Just saying. I support police officers, so you guys rock. Thank you for your service. I think it's a great profession, and I really feel badly you have to put up with so much political bullshit. You do, and second guessing. Hey, if you do your job, we're going to throw you in jail. Jeez. Rant complete. I'm also a fan of archaeology, but it doesn't have a great job security. I basically need an advanced degree in order to get a job. I hope you can understand this. Very frustrating. I must choose at this point because I'm branching off for the rest of my life. I would greatly appreciate it if I could use some of your valuable and limited time to give your opinion. Keep up the amazing work. Wow, that's interesting. Between an archaeologist, anthropologist, or a police officer. I'll say what I've said in the past QTN episodes. Close your eyes at night and envision your future. Where do you see yourself being? Okay, what do you see yourself doing? Follow your heart. I will tell you this, and I kind of just did it in my rant. Police officers have to put up with a lot of crap. A lot. The bureaucracy they put up with, the BS, the danger in their jobs is huge. You need to talk to police officers right now and go on rides with them. Find some cool guys. I'm sure you can find some. Say, hey, I'm looking into being what you do. Please help me. Give me some insight. I've said this in other QTN episodes. Shadow them and really pick their brains and say, what do you hate about this job? What do you like about this job? And you'll learn. Do the same thing with archaeologists, anthropologists. You may find some aspects to those jobs you have not considered before. And choose. If I were to choose for you, and I hate doing that, anthropologist. There, I chose for you. Be an anthropologist. It's cool. I don't really know what an anthropologist does, by the way. I was especially motivated to write you after seeing your Into Real Life Video Gamer Shoots for Real video. I've worked in the video game industry for 15 years in many capacities. My most rewarding work is as a community manager for an online role-playing game. My job is to be a liaison between my company and the players. By the way, this is Anthony Yee in Alameda, California. Dude, I love Alameda. That's a cool town. Part of my job is to run social media, create sales buzz. I personally communicate with these players when they need to have an ear to listen. Most importantly, I go against what is best for the company, which wants me to get them to spend money in my game. Instead, I look out for the players' best interest, which is in their personal development. I frequently tell players to log out of the game and go outside and have an adventure. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. Create memories that will last a lifetime. Many times the players will message me and tell me about some great life experience they had and thank me for telling them to get out. That is the most rewarding part of my life or my job. I owe this in large part to your philosophy videos, says Anthony. I've been a subscriber since 2008. Prior to finding your channel, I owned 3 firearms, 1911 Colt, Mossberg 590A1, Para Ordnance. After becoming a subscriber, my firearms family has grown to 23. Welcome to the addiction, Anthony. You've reviewed about 90% of the firearms I now own. The same goes for my blades. My wife dreads seeing me watching one of your blade reviews because she knows a package will be arriving in the mail several days afterwards. Been down that road, haven't we, in the Caravs? Yeah, that's pretty funny. My father used to be a die-hard protectionist. Your political videos gave my brother and I the knowledge and motivation to convert him. He now owns 2 Henry lever guns, a Savage bolt action and a Browning Buckmark, all recommended by me. Thank you. I love those guns. For Christmas, my brother and I got him a Remington 870, another Hall of Fame shotgun. Nowadays, our most treasured memories are spending days at the range with our dad. That is awesome, dude. He said some other stuff, but I got to wrap it up. Lastly, I want to let you know my wife is pregnant with our first child. Congratulations. I've watched your parenting videos multiple times in the last few weeks. Your words on parenting have been on my mind a lot. I watched Fixed Parenting Fixed the World before Thanksgiving dinner. At dinner, a family friend asked me if I was nervous about being a new father. I said, I'm only nervous about one thing. What are you concerned about? She asked. The weight of raising a responsible human being. Nutn, I want to thank you for all of your entertaining and informative videos. Thank you for sharing your life with us viewers. These life lessons are creating better people and strengthening this great world we have, and I appreciate all the hard work and sacrifices you make. That's Tony, not Anthony. Tony Yee, Alameda, California. That's Questions in Nutnfancy. Where are we at? Heck, almost an hour. Goes by fast though, doesn't it? It goes by so fast. And I've just shot it with no cuts, no breaks at all. Man, what great letters. What my plans are to post more QTN episodes on the B channel. So if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the Nutnfancy project at the top of the screen. It may have been running in banner this whole time because I don't have enough bandwidth on the main channel. In other words, I have to have some videos parked there. It might be a gun review, might be a run and gun, and it has to sit there for a few days for guys to catch up with it. What I would really like to do for the B channel is to build that content. So A channel here, B channel starts coming up more and more original channel. They're not cross-posted, totally original content. I'm doing that more and more, but I need more subscribers over here, B channel, and more participation in B channel. Because if I spend a lot of time, money, and effort making a video and it dies over here on the B channel, I'm just like, and that's happened, I'm like, why? I'll just have to, you know, put it on the A channel. And wait, I've been dragging Anchor lately. Seriously, I have literally 8 videos right now that need to post, but I'll overwhelm you guys. I'll post batches of 3, batches of 4, and it's just too much because most of the guys, if not all of the guys in TNP, have jobs. They have careers. They're busy. A lot of them don't even subscribe. I wish they would. And they'll bounce in and they'll catch up if and when they have time. Kind of like that dude says, hey, I'm driving, I listen to you. So that's it. Thank you so much. I wish you the best with your animals, your families. Thank you for the support. This is a great adventure we're on still. There's so much more to come. If you could just see in my mind what I have planned, and if I had audience support, it would be pretty cool. Thank you, QTN. I gotta bike out. See ya. I think I'll end with a fart, actually.